You're welcome. I know you are going to click on this video.
Why? Why did she refuse? You really want to know why the poor girl refused? To dance with the rich boy every lady is dying to have. You just grab your popcorn and let's get started. I dare you to kiss Sarah. Wait, I know you are wondering what is going on here. It all began with music, with flashing lights.
He was the golden boy, rich, untouchable, worshipped by the city.
The red glow of sunset stretched lazily across the sky above Accra, settling gently over the white marble walls of the Lawson mansion. From a distance, the house looked like something carved from ambition itself, tall pillars, polished balconies, tinted windows reflecting a dying sun that refused to surrender quietly. Inside, music thundered from the upper floor. Laughter ricocheted against imported chandeliers. The faint clink of crystal. Glasses floated down the grand staircase like a celebration that had begun long before nightfall. Silas Lawson stood before a full-length mirror framed in gold. 30 years old, 30 years entitled. His designer shirt hung half-buttoned over his broad chest. A gold wristlet in Dubai hugged his wrist. He tilted his head slightly, studying himself the way a king might admire a crown before placing it on his head. A slow smile curved his lips. Tonight wasn't just a party, it was his kingdom. And he was about to reign. Bro, your ride's ready. Francis' voice boomed from downstairs. Silas chuckled under his breath. He grabbed his keys, adjusted his collar, and spoke to his reflection. Tell them the king is coming. He descended the staircase with calculated confidence. Every step deliberate. Every movement rehearsed by years of being watched, admired, envied. In the living room sat Chief Isaac Lawson, business magnate, oil investor, philanthropist, and one of the most respected men in Ghana. A leather-bound business journal rested in his hands. His reading glasses balanced low on his nose. Beside him sat Mrs. Evelyn Lawson, elegant in a silk evening robe, her beauty preserved by grace and discipline rather than extravagance. She looked up first, another party. She asked gently. Silas spread his arms dramatically. It's my birthday, Mum. Life doesn't celebrate itself. Chief Isaac slowly lowered his journal. You're 30, Silas. The air shifted. 30, he repeated. And every time I read about you, it's clubs, women, scandals. You carry my name. Silas' smile thinned. It's just a party. Dad, not a crime scene. It might as well be, his father replied quietly. You treat responsibility like an inconvenience. Silas' jaw tightened. I didn't ask to be born into board meetings and oil contracts. And I didn't build an empire for my son to waste it. Silence pressed heavily against the marble walls. Mrs. Lawson intervened softly. Isaac. But Chief Isaac continued. The world applauds you now because you spend money. But applause fades. Respect doesn't come from nightclubs. Silas exhaled sharply. I'll handle my life my way. His father's voice lowered, not in anger but in warning. Your way will destroy you. Silas said nothing. He simply smiled faintly, then he walked out. The door slammed behind him with a finality that echoed longer than anyone expected. Outside, 3 luxury cars waited like obedient soldiers. Engines purred. Headlights gleamed. Francis leaned against a matte black Range Rover. Dare stood nearby scrolling through his phone. When Silas stepped outside, they erupted. Silas the boss. The Lion of Accra. He basked in it. The praise, the envy, the noise. They sped off toward the city as darkness swallowed the sky whole. The nightclub pulsed like a living organism. Lights slashed through smoke-filled air. Bass thumped so deeply it felt like a second heartbeat. Bodies moved in synchronized chaos. When Silas entered the VIP section, heads turned instantly. Phones lifted, cameras flashed. Girls screamed his name. Silas Lawson had arrived, bottles popped. Champagne sprayed. Currency notes floated like confetti. The DJ grabbed the mic. Make some noise for the birthday king. The crowd roared. Francis draped an arm around him. Tonight we forget tomorrow, Silas grinned. No rules tonight. But somewhere beneath the flashing lights and intoxication, something unfamiliar stirred in his chest. A faint restlessness. He ignored it. Kings do not question their thrones. Across town, in a modest neighborhood far removed from marble and chandeliers, another life unfolded quietly. Sarah sat on her narrow bed, a worn novel resting in her lap. The small standing fan in her room rotated slowly, its hum steady and comforting. Her world was smaller, but it was stable. Her parents believed in prayer before profit, in discipline before desire. From the kitchen, her mother called out, "Sarah, aren't you going to that party your friends mentioned?" Sarah frowned slightly. "No, Mama, I told them I'm not interested." Her father's voice followed from the sitting room. "No decent thing comes from those gatherings." She smiled faintly. She liked quiet evenings, books, peace, predictability. She had heard the name Silas Lawson countless times. The city's golden boy. The untouchable heir. The man every girl whispered about. But she was not one of them. Or so she believed. Her phone buzzed suddenly. "Binti, Zara, Abig, how far?" Binti's voice burst through the speaker, loud and energetic. "We're outside your gate." "You're coming tonight." "What?" "No, I already told you. It's Silas Lawson's birthday. Everyone's going to be there. Just sit down if you don't want to dance." Sarah hesitated. Her heart felt uneasy. But laughter erupted outside her gate. Pressure, expectation, youth. "Fine," she whispered reluctantly. Against her better judgment, against her instincts. She stood up, back at the club. Silas was mid-laughter when the doors opened again. 3 girls entered. 2 confident, 1 hesitant. Sarah clutched her purse tightly as Binti and Miriam dragged her inside. The lights overwhelmed her instantly. The music felt too loud. The air too thick. She didn't belong here. Her modest gown set her apart. While others shimmered in daring dresses, she carried quiet dignity. And then their eyes met. For a brief second, Silas stopped moving. She looked away immediately. But it was enough. "Who's that?" he asked Francis casually. Francis followed his gaze. "That's Sarah, quiet type. Not your usual." Silas' lips curved slowly. "Different." He watched her again as she tried to disappear into the background. "I like different." He didn't know it yet. But the girl who avoided his eyes would become the one person capable of breaking him. Sarah felt his gaze like heat against her skin. She didn't know why. She didn't want to know why. She turned to Binti. "I'm only staying for 1 hour. Binti laughed. "We'll see." Across the room, Silas stood taller. For the first time that night, he wasn't interested in applause. He was interested in silence. Here, silence. 2 homes. 2 upbringings. One raised in luxury without limits. One raised in values without compromise. Both heading toward a collision neither understood. The music grew louder. The drinks grew stronger. And Destiny stepped quietly into the room. Outside the club, clouds gathered over Accra. Inside, Silas began walking toward her. And somewhere far away, Chief Isaac Lawson sat alone in his study, staring at a family portrait on his desk. A father sensing something he could not yet see. A mother whispering prayers into the night. And 2 young souls standing, unknowingly at the edge of a story that would soon spiral beyond parties, beyond pride, beyond control. Because some nights are not celebrations. Some nights are turning points. And this was one of them. The music slammed through the nightclub like a wild, frantic heartbeat. Strobe lights sliced through the smoky air, flashing over writhing bodies, glittering dresses and raised glasses. Laughter, shouts, and bass collided into a single deafening roar. At the edge of the chaos stood Sarah. Her fingers tightened around her. Small purse as though it were the only thing, anchoring her to reality. Every instinct inside her begged her to turn around and run. She did not belong here. Not in this world of noise, flashing lights, and reckless freedom. Binti and Mariam were already lost in the rhythm. Hips swaying, arms raised, faces glowing with excitement. They laughed loudly, spinning and pulling each other into the crowd. "Don't be boring, Sarah." Binti shouted over the music. "Live a little." Sarah forced a weak smile, but her chest felt tight. This was not living. It was surviving. Across the room, Silas lounged against a leather booth, surrounded by beautiful women and expensive bottles. Yet his eyes were fixed on only one person. Zara, the quiet girl standing alone. Her plain but elegant dress hugged her slender frame modestly, untouched by glitter or bold cuts. Her hair was neatly tied back, simple, clean, under the flashing lights. She looked out of place like a gentle painting hung in the middle of chaos. Who brought her? Silas asked Francis lazily, never looking away. Francis followed his gaze and grinned. "That's Binti's friend. Heard she's one of those proper girls. Churchtype." A slow smile curved Silas's lips. "Perfect. Let's see how proper she is tonight. He rose smoothly, brushing past a girl who tried to grab his arm like she didn't exist. His friends laughed knowingly as he strode toward Sarah. The shift in attention was immediate. Heads turned. Whispers spread. Binti noticed and smirked, leaning close to Mariam's ear. Omar, it looks like our baby girl has finally caught the attention of Almighty. Silas, the one and only heartbeat of every girl, including mine, she smirked, adjusting very well to watch. How the high and mighty would stoop so low. To talk to Sarah. Mariam herself could not hide the shock written all over her face. She had never imagined a hole. Silas would leave hot girls who were dying too. Spend the night with him and focus on Sarah. A common name nobody remembered. Sarah felt it before she saw it. That heavy awareness. Her stomach tightened. She looked up and met Silas's gaze just as he stopped in front of her. Something in his confident posture made her skin prickle. "Hi," he said, flashing a smile known to break defenses. "You look like you don't belong here." Her voice came out calm, though her heart pounded. "That's because I don't." He chuckled softly. "You're honest." "Like Set," he said with a charming smile that always got girls yearning to be in his arms. "I didn't come here to impress you," Sarah snapped at him nonchalantly. The words cut sharper than she intended. A flicker of irritation crossed his face, but he masked it instantly. "Relax," he said. "I just wanted to make sure you're having fun tonight. After all, it's my birthday." "I'm fine," Sarah said almost immediately. But she wasn't. Her hands were trembling slightly, and Silas noticed. Something about her defiance intrigued him more than the chase ever had. Before either could speak again, Binti appeared, looking mischievous and grinning from ear to ear. "Silas, you know Sarah, right?" "My best friend." "Not yet," he replied smoothly, not taking his eyes away from Sarah. "But I would like to know her. She seems interesting." Binti laughed lightly. "Then invite her to join our table." Silas reached for Sarah's hand. "Come on, don't be shy." Sarah reagiert handhande wie "Her Tonfilm." "I said I'm fine where I am." Sarah shifted. A hush rippled outward. Nearby girls exchanged stunned glances. Whispered murmurs spread. Nobody had ever turned the almighty Silas down before. No girl had ever dared to do that. Silas's smile faded for the first time. He forced a laugh. "All right, then. Maybe next time." He turned and walked away, but his pride burned fiercely. Behind him, the giggles and whispers followed like mocking shadows. Binti leaned in toward Sarah, her voice sharp. "Babes, are you mad? Do you know who that is?" Sarah met her stare. "I don't care." He should learn to respect people's boundaries. Binti's lips curved slowly. "Silas is a celebrity. Trust me, you'll regret talking to him like that." Sarah frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" But Binti only shrugged. "Don't say I didn't warn you," and walked away. Later that night, the lights dimmed further. The DJ's voice boomed through the speakers. Time for truth or dare. The crowd roared in excitement. Silas's friends immediately surrounded him, chanting his name. Silas, Silas, Silas. He smirked. I'd choose dare. Laughter exploded. Someone whispered into Binti's ear. Then her eyes lit up. She raised her hand eagerly. I've got the perfect dare. Silas turned lazily. Let's hear it. I dare you. She paused dramatically. To kiss Sarah. For a heartbeat, the world froze. Then the club erupted. There were gasps. There were laughter. Whistles erupted, and phones lifted instantly. All eyes suddenly snapped toward Sarah. Her blood turned cold. Silas's grin widened, a dangerous spark flashing in his eyes. Slowly, deliberately, he stood adjusting his wristwatch. Well, that's easy. He stepped forward. The crowd parted. Whispers spread. Every movement slowed. And with the full attention of everyone in the room, Silas walked toward Sarah to kiss her. Sarah stepped into a world she never belonged to, the noise. The lights, the chaos, everything about the club screamed danger and discomfort. Yet, she stood there, holding tightly to her purse, holding even tighter to her value, while her friends drowned in excitement. Sarah struggled to breathe in a place that celebrated recklessness. And across the room, Silas noticed her, not because she was loud, not because she was seductive, but because she was just different. She resisted him. She rejected his charm. She refused his hand. And in doing so, she bruised the pride of a man no one ever dared to turn down. Her refusal shocked the crowd. Her firmness unsettled Silas. Her courage irritated Binti. Was Sarah brave? Or simply unaware of the danger she was walking into? Then came the game. Truth or dare? Oh, harmless game, or it seemed. With one mischievous suggestion from Binti, everything changed. I dare you to kiss Sarah. Suddenly, all eyes were on her. Her heart raced, crept in, and the weight of the crowd pressed heavily on her fragile resolve. Would Silas respect her boundaries or use the moment to feed his wounded pride? Was Binti truly her friend or the architect of her humiliation? Had Sarah's refusal planted the seed of obsession, punishment, or dangerous attraction? Would this night mark the beginning of her downfall or the turning point of her destiny? Sometimes one careless dare is all it takes to alter the course of a life. And for Sarah, the storm was only beginning.